Most people want to change their lives, but very few ever succeed. They search for motivation, wait for the perfect moment, or chase quick fixes that never last. The Stoics knew a different path. They understood that true transformation is not a matter of luck or sudden inspiration. It is built through hidden practices few are willing to apply. These practices are simple, but they demand courage and discipline. And when used, they can shift a life faster than any motivational speech or self-help trick. The question is, why are so few applying them? And will you? When people think about transformation, they often imagine dramatic moments, an instant when everything changes, a speech that awakens them, a crisis that shakes them, or a sudden wave of motivation that carries them into a new life. But the truth is, those moments rarely last. The Stoics taught that transformation is not a lightning strike, but a steady fire that must be tended every day. Epictetus reminded his students that you cannot expect to live differently if you do not think differently, and you cannot think differently if you do not train your mind. The misunderstanding most people carry is believing that change depends on emotion, when in reality it depends on clarity and discipline. Motivation fades, but habits endure. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." In the same way, it is not that transformation is slow, but that we make it slow by scattering our energy on things that do not matter. The Stoic view of rapid transformation is simple. Decide what is essential, take full responsibility for it, and practice it daily without waiting for inspiration. Change happens quickly when you stop delaying and start directing your mind toward what is in your control. What slows people down is not the difficulty of the path, but the distractions they choose to carry along the way. The first hidden key to rapid transformation is radical responsibility. Most people spend their lives blaming circumstances, other people, or even fate for their condition. The Stoics rejected this way of thinking. They believed that while you cannot control what happens around you, you always control how you respond. Epictetus, born a slave, had no choice over his body being beaten or sold, but he claimed complete sovereignty over his mind. He taught that freedom begins when you stop saying, "Why me?" and start asking, "What can I do now?" This shift is where transformation accelerates, because it removes excuses and places power back in your hands. The modern world often conditions us to believe that someone else must change before we can move forward. A boss must treat us better, the economy must improve, or luck must finally strike. The Stoic refuses to wait. He accepts reality as it is, then acts on what he controls in this moment. Rapid transformation begins the moment you refuse to outsource responsibility for your own life. If you fail, you learn. If you succeed, you grow. In both cases, you remain the author of your story. It is this radical responsibility, owning everything that is yours to own, that allows you to stop wasting years in complaint and instead gain progress in weeks. The question that remains is whether you will keep looking outward for answers or finally turn inward to the one place change truly begins. The second key to rapid transformation is daily reflection. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, carried with him a private notebook where he spoke to himself with honesty. He did not write to impress others. He wrote to correct his own faults, to strengthen his principles, and to remind himself of the life he wanted to live. These writings became what we now call meditations. His practice reveals a truth the Stoics understood deeply. Without reflection, life passes in a blur, mistakes repeat themselves, and progress slows to a crawl. Reflection is the mirror that shows you who you really are, not who you pretend to be. When you write down your thoughts each day, you capture the drift of your mind, the patterns of your behavior, and the lessons hidden in your failures. This is how you transform faster than those who simply move from one day to the next without pause. Seneca advised ending each day by asking, "What weakness did I overcome? What duty did I fulfill? What passion resisted?" These questions strip away illusions and bring you face to face with your progress. In the modern world, this practice is often overlooked because it seems too simple. Yet simplicity is its strength. A journal, a quiet evening, and a few honest lines can cut through the noise of life and realign you to your path. Transformation is not about grand gestures. It is about correcting your course daily so you do not wander for years. Reflection is the compass that keeps you steady on the journey. The third key to rapid transformation is clarity of values. Without clear values, transformation is like setting out on a journey without a destination. You move, but in circles. Many people chase what others tell them to want: wealth, approval, status. The Stoics insisted that before you begin to act, you must decide what matters most. Seneca wrote that a sailor who does not know which port he sails to will never find favorable winds. In the same way, a life without guiding principles is tossed by every trend, every fear, every desire. When your values are unclear, you waste energy switching directions, chasing temporary pleasures, or abandoning your path at the first sign of difficulty. But when your values are defined, decisions become simple. You measure every choice against what you stand for, and this saves years of hesitation and regret. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to act in harmony with nature and duty, no matter what temptations or obstacles appeared. That clarity gave him strength when the empire around him was unstable. If you want transformation to happen quickly, do not begin with goals, begin with values. Ask yourself, what principles would I defend even if it cost me? What kind of person do I want to be when no one is watching? Write down your 3 most important values and keep them near you. With them, you will no longer stumble in uncertainty. You will walk a straight path, and progress will come not by accident, but by design. The fourth key to rapid transformation is control of desire. Most people think progress means adding more achievements, more possessions, more recognition. Yet the Stoics taught that real freedom comes not from gaining more, but from needing less. The endless pursuit of desire scatters your focus and ties you to things outside your control. You want approval, so you act for the opinions of others. You want wealth, so you exhaust yourself chasing it. You want comfort, so you avoid the very challenges that would make you strong. Seneca wrote that poverty is not having too little, but wanting more. When you cut away unnecessary wants, you gain back time, energy, and clarity. This is why controlling desire is not about denial for its own sake. It is about sharpening your life to only what is essential. A man who wants little can move quickly because nothing weighs him down. The one burdened by endless cravings is like a traveler dragging heavy luggage. Every step is slow, and he never arrives. Rapid transformation happens when you reduce the distance between intention and action, and the simplest way to do that is to want less. Start small. Choose one desire that weakens you, perhaps approval, indulgence, or luxury, and practice letting it go. Notice how light you feel without it. Notice how quickly you can act when you are not chained to it. The fewer desires you serve, the faster you move toward who you are meant to become. The fifth key to rapid transformation is voluntary hardship. The Stoics understood that comfort breeds weakness, while chosen discomfort strengthens the mind and body. Seneca often reminded himself of poverty by eating coarse bread, wearing simple clothes, and sleeping on the floor, not because he lacked wealth, but because he wanted to prove to himself that he could live without it. By practicing hardship in controlled ways, he stripped fear from his life. How can riches frighten you if you know you can endure poverty? How can loss disturb you if you have already rehearsed it? Voluntary hardship trains you for reality and quickens transformation because it removes hesitation when life throws difficulty your way. Most people avoid discomfort, but avoidance slows growth. The Stoics did the opposite. They leaned into controlled struggle so that when real adversity arrived, they stood ready. In modern life, this could mean fasting for a day to train temperance, taking cold showers to strengthen resilience, or choosing silence when you want to speak for validation. These practices may seem small, but they build inner steel. Each time you embrace hardship by choice, you remind yourself that you are stronger than your cravings and tougher than your fears. Transformation becomes rapid because fear loses its grip on you. Life cannot threaten what you have already mastered within yourself. The man who has tasted struggle willingly walks lighter and faster than the one still terrified of it. The sixth key to rapid transformation is discipline over mood. Most people wait until they feel motivated before they act, and because motivation comes and goes like the wind, their progress is slow and uncertain. The Stoics rejected this dependency on emotion. They believed that duty and principle must guide action, not fleeting moods. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself in the mornings to rise and face his responsibilities, no matter how tired or unwilling he felt. He wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I am rising to do the work of a human being.'" Transformation becomes rapid when you stop negotiating with your emotions and simply do what is necessary. In Rome, generals could not afford to act only when inspired. They acted from discipline because lives depended on it. In the same way, if you wait to feel like it, you will waste years standing still. Discipline is not about harshness, it is about freedom. It frees you from being a slave to your moods. When you act from principle, you build momentum, and momentum accelerates change. Imagine a stone rolling downhill. At first, effort is needed to move it, but once it gains speed, it carries itself forward. Discipline works the same way. Each time you choose action over mood, you strengthen the habit of consistency. Soon, progress no longer depends on how you feel in the moment. It flows naturally from who you have trained yourself to be. The seventh key to rapid transformation is remembering the shortness of life. Nothing accelerates change more than realizing how little time we truly have. People delay action because they assume they will always have tomorrow, next month, or next year. The Stoics shattered this illusion. Seneca wrote in his essay on the shortness of life that it is not that we have too little time, but that we squander much of it. Every hour wasted on trivialities is an hour stolen from the life you could have lived. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that death might come at any moment, urging him to live now, not later. This perspective does not breed fear, it breeds urgency. When you see time as scarce, procrastination loses its power. You stop postponing important decisions. You stop tolerating things that do not align with your values. You begin to act with clarity because you understand that every day could be your last. Imagine how fast transformation would come if you lived each day as if it were the only one you had. Would you still waste hours scrolling, arguing, or waiting for perfect conditions? Or would you finally begin the work that matters? The Stoics chose to live with death at their shoulder, not to make life dark, but to make it brighter. Knowing life is short frees you to focus only on what is essential, and this urgency compresses years of potential change into days of decisive action. The eighth key to rapid transformation is the art of pausing. Life constantly throws events at us, insults, disappointments, unexpected turns, and most people react without thought. They allow anger, fear, or impulse to take the wheel, and in those moments, they lose control of themselves. Epictetus taught that we are not disturbed by things, but by the opinions we form about them. This means that between what happens to us and how we respond, there is always a small space. In that space lies freedom. The Stoics trained themselves to pause before reacting, to let reason step in before emotion ruled. This simple pause is a powerful accelerator of transformation because it prevents you from undoing progress with a single careless act. Think of how many mistakes are born from words spoken too quickly or choices made in a rush of feeling. A pause creates distance. It allows you to see the situation clearly, to ask, is this within my control? Is my reaction aligned with my values? This habit may seem small, but it changes everything. Instead of being dragged by every impulse, you begin to govern yourself. Transformation happens rapidly when you stop letting others or circumstances dictate your inner state. Practice the pause in daily life. When insulted, wait before replying. When tempted, wait before indulging. Even a breath of silence can turn rashness into wisdom. The man who masters the pause moves through life calmly, steadily, and with a power that few possess. The ninth key to rapid transformation is the company you keep. No one grows in isolation. The people around you either pull you forward or drag you backward. The Stoics were clear about this. If you spend your time with those who are careless, wasteful, or ruled by passions, you will slowly become like them. But if you surround yourself with the wise, the disciplined, and the virtuous, their habits will shape you just as surely. Marcus Aurelius often listed the qualities of the teachers and mentors who influenced him: his father's simplicity, Rusticus's discipline, Sextus's kindness. He understood that his own progress was accelerated by the examples of others. Transformation slows when you remain in environments that weaken your principles. It quickens when you choose company that sharpens them. In today's world, this does not only mean friends or colleagues, it also means the voices you allow into your mind, the books you read, the videos you watch, the conversations you entertain. Every influence leaves a mark. If you want rapid change, examine your circle and ask, do these people make me better or do they keep me the same? Then act accordingly. Choose teachers, even if they are only through their writings. Seek companions who remind you of the person you want to be. Avoid those who make you forget your values. The company you keep is not a small matter. It is the soil in which your character grows. If the soil is rich, growth is fast and strong. If it is barren, even the best seeds struggle. The 10th key to rapid transformation is focusing on today. The Stoics warned against the trap of living in the past or future. Regret paralyzes, and worrying about tomorrow steals the strength needed for action now. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that the present moment is all any human ever possesses. He wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." This does not mean ignoring the future, but refusing to become its servant. Most people delay their transformation because they think in terms of years. Someday I will change. Someday I will act. The Stoics stripped change down to a single day. Can you live with virtue today? Can you practice discipline today? Can you endure hardship today? Transformation accelerates when you stop thinking in vague horizons and start concentrating on the hours directly before you. If you waste today, you waste the only thing that is truly yours. Seneca said that life is long if you know how to use it, but most of it is lost to waiting. When you wake in the morning, tell yourself, today is my chance to practice courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom. That is enough. This narrow focus cuts away procrastination and gives strength to act immediately. One day lived well builds another, and then another. Soon, change compounds. and what seemed impossible to accomplish in a year is transformed in a matter of weeks. The man who lives one day at a time moves faster than the one lost in endless tomorrows. The 11th key to rapid transformation is speaking less and listening more. The Stoics believed that wisdom is not proved by how much you say, but by how carefully you observe and how well you understand. Epictetus reminded his students that we were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, to listen twice as much as we speak. Most people slow their growth by filling every silence with noise, by rushing to prove themselves, or by seeking validation through words. Yet transformation requires clarity, and clarity comes from paying attention. When you listen deeply, you learn. When you listen, you notice the patterns of others, the truths hidden in their actions, and the errors in your own thinking. Seneca warned that much of life is wasted in idle chatter, discussions that add nothing to our virtue. To master silence is to master yourself. This does not mean withholding wisdom when it is needed, but it does mean resisting the temptation to speak without purpose. In practice, this could mean pausing before offering your opinion, asking more questions instead of asserting answers, and treating conversation as an opportunity to gather insight rather than broadcast ego. The man who speaks less conserves his energy, sharpens his judgment, and grows faster because he learns more than he teaches. The tongue often rushes where the mind has not yet arrived, and it is in that gap that mistakes are made. By listening more than you speak, you transform quietly but powerfully, gaining strength that others can sense even in your silence. The 12th key to rapid transformation is turning adversity into fuel. The Stoics believed that obstacles are not interruptions to life, they are life itself. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Most people see hardship as a reason to stop, but the Stoic sees it as the very material needed for growth. A fire does not shrink when logs are thrown upon it. It grows brighter and stronger. In the same way, adversity, when met with the right mindset, accelerates transformation instead of slowing it. Epictetus reminded his students that difficulty reveals character. It shows what you are truly made of. Without trials, there is no test, and without tests, there is no progress. This principle is often forgotten because hardship feels painful in the moment. Yet transformation is not about comfort. It is about becoming who you are capable of being. The faster you reframe obstacles, the faster you change. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the Stoic asks, "How can this serve me?" Every setback contains a lesson, every insult a chance to practice patience, every failure an opportunity to strengthen resilience. When you adopt this view, adversity no longer delays your path, it becomes your path. And because life is never free of obstacles, this mindset ensures that you are always moving forward, no matter what comes. Transformation becomes rapid, not because the world becomes easier, but because you have learned to turn its weight into your own strength. The 13th key to rapid transformation is remembering death. The Stoics called this practice memento mori. Remember that you must die. At first, this idea seems grim, but for the Stoics it was a source of power, not despair. By keeping death in mind, they cut away distractions and focused on what truly mattered. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that he could leave life at any moment, so he must let his words, actions, and thoughts be worthy of a final day. Seneca advised living each day as if it were a complete life, so that when death arrived, nothing essential was left undone. Most people live as if their days are infinite, postponing what matters for later, avoiding hard decisions, and wasting years on trivial pursuits. But when you remember death, you stop waiting. You stop clinging to things that do not endure. You begin to live with urgency, with presence, with gratitude. This is why memento mori is not a call to fear. It is a call to live fully. It accelerates transformation because it forces you to strip away illusions and to face reality with clarity. Death is certain, but how you spend the hours before it is not. Each reminder of mortality is an invitation to act now, to be courageous now, to forgive now, to grow now. The one who remembers death lives more in a single year than the forgetful man lives in decades. To live as if time is endless is to drift. To live as if each day may be the last is to transform without delay. If these Stoic keys spoke to you, put them into practice today. And if you want more timeless wisdom to guide your path, make sure to subscribe for the next lesson.